Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an author, speaker, and proud father. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Many women don't seem to want the man they say they want. And ladies, look, y'all know Uncle Ron. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm gonna be straight up. I ain't gonna tell you some stuff you want to hear and everything. I'm gonna tell you some stuff you need to hear. And this is a concern many men have. And fellas, don't help. Don't help on this one. Let me talk to the women, okay? And I'm making that thing because I know a lot of guys can relate to this. Often, and this is something I've seen a lot. I've talked to, and I've said it before, I've talked with thousands of women in my lifetime, thousands. And just to be clear, because I know sometimes people say, how is that possible? I've worked in positions like sales positions when I was vending, retail, in gyms and stuff where that's my job was mainly customer service, and you always get past everything or just making a sale. A lot of it, just in general, and may have to talk about this on a tangent, might have to talk about this on my business channel. Sales is mainly establishing some type of emotional relationship connection, even though it's brief. And that's deep to the point where, like in many Asian cultures, that's the reason they'll bow to each other first before conducting business, because they realize it's a relationship. So that's just a tangent. But ladies, I've talked to many women, and they'll say, well, I want a guy who does this. They want a guy who, does that. It's like, well, he need to be educated. He need to have money. He need to, be good to his mama. And I'm like, okay, that's reasonable. And, even on here, ladies, I told you it's reasonable for you to get a man who at least, got his own spot and car and got a steady job. I've said that. I've never promoted Dusty's. So I'm like, okay, I hear women say that. It was like, but here's a funny thing. And here's part of what the problem is, because I already know what it is, right? There's been times when somebody will introduce that woman to the very guy they say they want, and the woman's still like, eh. And see, I'm going to tell you what, it frustrates a lot of men. It does. It frustrates a lot of men because, look, even though you got a lot of men who focus on the negative nature of women and the negative sides, you got really a whole lot of men who want to believe you when you say that. They want to believe you. They not automatically like, oh, the woman's this or that, because, they might have had good women in their family, mamas, maybe some sisters, maybe some cousins, good friends, something like that. And they be like, oh, okay. So they're going to automatically think, oh, okay, this is what you really want. But then many men have observed a woman being with a guy who don't have the things that the woman said she want. That's the issue. And in fact, that's usually like on my men's channel. I always tell the men the Pookie and Ray Ray thing is overblown. And now I've said specifically, yeah, it happens, but, guys go too far with it. But here's the reason why they do. Women will say that they want a specific type of guy, and a guy who's outstanding, love his mom and all that. But they see you with the opposite. They see you with the opposite, right? So what the man going to do? He's going to go by, like, ultimately, we can hear everything. But at the end of the day, we go by what we see. And, if we see a woman, if we know a woman, we heard a woman say, well, I want this, or they write this and all of that. And they're like, well, this ain't, I'm all those things. What's the issue? It really messes with a man. Like that recent thing with that law school graduate, C.J. King. Well, you remember what I said on my channel? I did a video about it. And I said specifically everything he said is what I've heard women say they wanted since the 80s. But a lot of women were going in on that guy for just pointing that out and even saying some stuff he didn't say. But all he did was repeat stuff I've heard hundreds of women say, read more times than I can count women say, right? So it kind of confuses the men. And I know what the issue is, ladies. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's just keep it 100. Because like I said, Uncle Rom ain't going to tell you some bullshit. We know y'all saying that, but it only applies to maybe 15% of the men out there. Let's be real. Let's be real. Y'all say y'all want all these personality traits, right? And that's cool. But y'all not saying y'all want it from Mr. Goodbar. Y'all want him to act right. Y'all want that sexy fine dude to act right. And that's what's really messing with the men. See, I'm going to tell you something now. This is a personal thing. I don't have a problem if a woman says she wants a specific type or he need to look like this. I applaud her. Now, some other women might jump on her for like giving it away. And some other guys got mad, but I always tell the men, don't get mad. Like when women are just totally honest like that, embrace it, listen to it, because then you know what to do. Right? And that's a big problem. And ladies, look, I ain't going to get on y'all too much about that because I know some guys can't handle y'all telling the truth. You know? They can't handle y'all telling the truth. But, you know what? Another story. I remember I did this live seminar, mostly women in there. And we were specifically talking about Mr. Goodbar, that sexy dude, that sexy fine. Specifically, that was a whole conversation. When people showed up, they knew it. There wasn't no bait and switch. We told them. And it was organized primarily by women. Right? So we got all these women in there and some guys. We talking about all that. The women were quiet as hell, which surprised me because I did a seminar with the same group before, and the women were sniping. They were raunches over. We going back and forth. It was good. It wasn't no vicious back and forth, but the women were still saying what was on their mind. Like I said, I respect when women say what's on their mind, so I wasn't bothered by it. Plus, my girlfriend was there, so, they took one look at her, and they were like, oh, Rom the real deal. As the guys took some look, too. I was going to clown them as they were, like, sitting closer and closer to her while I'm trying to say some stuff. But anyway, I digress, right? But, yeah, we were at this seminar, and most of the women were quiet. They were quiet. In fact, one woman, she was arguing everything with me, right? She was like, oh, no, we don't go for a guy just because he looks good and all of that. We go for these personality things. And I just say, uh-huh. And then afterwards, I never forget afterwards, when it was just me, her, and a few of her close friends who knew she was bullshitting in there, she said, oh, yeah, she got a muscular young boy. I'm like, come on. And see, that's what we're seeing. That's what guys are seeing. So, and it frustrates them. It frustrates them because they seeing and listening to everything y'all saying, and they got it. I mean, they got the resume. I mean, they got the receipts. they can break out their, as far as their education, they can not only break out their diploma, they can break out their transcripts. They good to go. You could have a letter of recommendation from their minister. A letter of recommendation from their minister. Shoot, you can do a background check on a perfect credit. They got all that stuff. And so they sitting back wondering, well, hold up. I got all the stuff the women say. Yet the women will find something about them. They like, oh, you being arrogant, you being conceited. But then you see that same woman with that pretty boy. So, I mean, and that, I wanted to share that today, ladies, because seriously, that's what's frustrating a lot of guys. It's like the lack of full honesty. The lack of full honesty. It's bad, seriously, ladies. I mean, I know some guys can't handle it, but if a critical mass of y'all just be straight up, at some point they're going to handle it. If they men, they're going to have to handle it. That's on the man's thing to handle it. Y'all just need to say it. Y'all need to be just straight up. If you want all of that, If you want all that in a guy, just say it. If you need to be sexy or a certain height, just say it. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Yeah, somebody gonna have a problem with it, but shit. Just don't get mad when we say, well, she need to have big breasts or big old butt. Don't get mad when we do the same thing. In fact, y'all shouldn't anyway. Men, we tell you straight up, we about the physical. Even though I've told men, y'all need to look at beyond, but that's on my men's channel. So anyway, right? This is an issue. This is what we're seeing, and it's something women have to deal with. I can tell y'all, but ultimately, each woman has to say to herself, okay, do I just tell him part of the thing, or just I be straight up and tell him the whole thing, and then just get it out the way? That way, he know where he truly stands. All right. And once again, fellas, because I know some men are listening, don't help me on this. All right, let me talk to them. Okay. So anyway, get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.